The courtroom fell into stunned silence as he strode forward, designer suit perfectly tailored, diamond watch flashing under the lights, arrogance pouring out with every step. He pointed a finger straight at Judge Judy, his voice booming as if he owned the place. The audience pulled back in discomfort. The bailiff shifted, muscles tight, ready to move. Then the rich bully made a critical mistake, one bold move that made the entire room gasp. Moments later, Judge Judy delivered a line so sharp and final that it crushed his confidence instantly, leaving him exposed and overwhelmed before he even understood what was happening. The instant his finger cut through the air toward the bench, it felt like the entire courtroom stopped breathing. Even the fluorescent lights seemed to flicker, as if the room itself rejected his arrogance. He stood there in his expensive suit, perfectly pressed, the fabric catching every reflection like it was meant to be seen. His diamond watch threw sharp flashes across the room, like bursts of ego. He wasn't just standing near the bench, he was invading the space, acting like it belonged to him, as if authority could be bought. Judge Judy didn't react. Her eyes lifted slowly, cutting through his confidence with calm precision. She didn't move back or raise her voice. She simply watched him, letting the silence do the work. Behind him, the audience recoiled further. Someone covered their mouth. Another whispered in shock. The tension shifted into disbelief as they watched a man who always expected to win walk straight into his own downfall. Across the room, the plaintiff stood quietly at the podium, holding his folder tightly like protection. A humble handyman, rough hands, tired eyes, unsure if he was witnessing justice or something far more dangerous. The bailiff stepped forward, slightly controlled, measured just enough to signal that things could escalate instantly if needed. But the bully ignored all of it. His focus stayed locked on Judge Judy. "You think you can talk to me like that?" he snapped loudly. "I'm not some nobody you can push around." Gasps broke through the silence. Judy leaned forward slightly, just enough for the light to catch her glasses, giving them a cold reflection. "You are dangerously close," she said quietly, "to finding out how wrong you are." He scoffed, dismissing her words, but it landed weakly in the heavy atmosphere. He didn't notice the bailiff's position shifting. He didn't notice the plaintiff's growing unease. All he saw was Judy. His arrogance blinded him to everything else. The thickening silence, the tension building around him like a tightening trap. Then Judy's hand moved toward a file on her desk. A small, subtle motion. Nothing dramatic, but somehow it changed the entire room. The moment her fingers touched it, something shifted. His smirk returned briefly as if he believed he still controlled the situation. He straightened his jacket, stepped back slightly, pretending composure. But the arrogance never left him, it radiated off him. Judy watched him carefully. She recognized the type immediately. Men who believed rules were optional. Men who treated consequences as something that happened to other people. The audience murmured again, quieter now, sensing the shift in power. The plaintiff tightened his grip on the folder, waiting, hoping. Judy nodded toward him. "Tell me again how this started." The bully rolled his eyes, irritated, but she didn't acknowledge him. The plaintiff spoke carefully. He explained how he worked on rental properties, repairs, fixes, urgent jobs. The man had promised quick payment if he prioritized him. The bully interrupted sharply, insisting he had already paid. Judy raised a hand immediately. "He speaks." Silence returned instantly. The plaintiff continued. He described completing the work, delays in payment, then pressure, aggression, and harassment at his home and workplace. The bully began showing up, shouting, trying to intimidate him. The courtroom reacted with discomfort and disbelief. Judy turned to the bully. Earlier, he had claimed the work wasn't finished. He defended himself, insisting he had to hire someone else because things were left incomplete. At that moment, the courtroom door opened quietly. A woman entered and sat at the back, hands tightly clasped. Her presence carried fatigue and worry. The bully noticed her immediately. His jaw tightened. Judy looked at her briefly. "Is that your mother?" He snapped that she didn't need to be there. Judy replied calmly that maybe that was exactly why she should be. His confidence wavered slightly. The plaintiff continued presenting evidence messages, delays, damage, and escalating pressure. each detail chipped away at the bully's image. Judy closed the file slowly, not concluding yet, just letting the weight settle. "What you call misunderstandings," she said quietly, "looks more like a pattern." For the first time, the bully's expression shifted. The act wasn't holding as firmly anymore. When Judy told the plaintiff to continue, something in the bully's face tightened. A brief crack in his composure revealed uncertainty. His arrogance now looked forced, uncomfortable. The plaintiff continued, voice steadier now, describing harassment, false accusations, and intimidation toward his workplace and neighbors. The bully tried to dismiss it all as lies. Judy stopped him immediately from speaking again. The plaintiff opened his folder fully. Evidence spilled out, messages, photos, recordings. The courtroom leaned in. The messages showed disrespect, threats, and manipulation. The tone was clear, no longer deniable. The bully insisted they were jokes. Judy corrected him. They were threats. Then a photo appeared showing him outside the plaintiff's home late at night, aggressive posture, uninvited presence. Judy studied it carefully. Then she looked at him. "Why were you there after midnight?" He stumbled over his words, claiming he just wanted to talk. His confidence fractured further. Judy reached for another thick folder on the bench, the one he clearly didn't want opened. The moment he saw it, his reaction changed. His posture shifted. His certainty faded. The courtroom leaned in again as she placed it down. "We are not finished," she said. The weight of that statement settled heavily as she opened it. The sound of the folder hitting the bench wasn't loud, but it felt final. The bully stiffened immediately. Judge Judy didn't open it yet. She just looked at him. The plaintiff watched, knuckles tight on the railing. The woman in the back covered her mouth slightly, as if already sensing what was coming. Judy finally spoke again, calm but cutting. "You told this court there was no security footage." The courtroom fell into stunned silence as he strode forward. Designer suit, sharp diamond watch flashing under the lights, arrogance spilling out with every step. He jabbed a finger toward Judge Judy, voice loud as if the room belonged to him. The audience pulled back in shock. The bailiff shifted, tense and ready. Then the rich bully made a serious mistake, one bold move that made the entire courtroom gasp. Moments later, Judge Judy delivered a line so cold and final it crushed his confidence instantly, leaving him frozen and exposed before he could even process it. The instant his finger sliced through the air toward the bench, it felt like the whole room stopped breathing. Even the lights above seemed to flicker, as though the space itself rejected his arrogance. He stood there in his expensive suit, perfectly fitted, the fabric catching every reflection like it was meant to impress. His diamond watch sent sharp flashes across the courtroom like bursts of ego. He wasn't just near the bench, he was invading it, acting like authority was something he could own. Judge Judy didn't react. Her eyes lifted slowly, cutting through his confidence with calm precision. No movement backward, no raised voice. Just a steady stare that stripped away his power. Behind him, the audience recoiled further. A woman covered her mouth. Someone whispered in disbelief. The tension shifted into uneasy silence as they watched a man who always expected control walk straight into a situation slipping out of his hands. Across the room, the plaintiff stood at the podium, gripping his folder tightly like a shield. A quiet handyman, worn and exhausted, unsure if he was watching justice unfold or something more dangerous. The bailiff stepped forward, slightly controlled, deliberate enough to signal consequences were close. But the bully ignored everything except Judy. "You think you can talk to me like that?" he snapped. "I'm not some nobody you can push around." Gasps spread through the room. Judy leaned forward just enough for her glasses to catch the light, turning them into cold reflections. "You are dangerously close," she said quietly, "to finding out how wrong you are." He scoffed, but it landed weakly. He didn't notice the bailiff shifting. He didn't notice the plaintiff tightening his grip. He only saw Judy and missed how the room had changed. Silence thickened. Tension wrapped around him like a warning. Then Judy's hand moved toward a folder on her desk. A small motion, almost nothing but. It changed everything. The moment her fingers touched it, his smirk returned briefly, forced and uneasy. He straightened his jacket, stepped back slightly, pretending control. But arrogance still clung to him. Judy watched him closely. She recognized the type immediately: men who believed rules were optional, consequences meant for others. The audience murmured softly, sensing the shift. The plaintiff held his breath. "Tell me again how this started," Judy said. The bully rolled his eyes, but she ignored him completely. The plaintiff spoke carefully, explaining how he worked on rental properties repairs, urgent fixes, promises of quick payment if he prioritized the job. The bully cut in, insisting he had already paid. Judy raised a hand. "He speaks." Silence snapped back into place. The plaintiff continued, describing completed work, delayed payments, then escalating harassment, showing up at his home, yelling, trying to intimidate him. The courtroom reacted with discomfort. Judy turned to the bully. Earlier, he had claimed the work wasn't finished. He insisted he had to hire someone else. At that moment, the courtroom door opened quietly. A woman entered and sat in the back row, hands tightly clasped, worry written across her face. The bully noticed her instantly. His jaw tightened. Judy looked at her briefly. "Is that your mother?" He snapped that she didn't need to be there. Judy replied calmly that maybe that was exactly why she should be. His confidence wavered for a moment. The plaintiff continued presenting messages, delays, damage reports, and threats. Each detail chipped away at the bully's image. Judy closed the file slowly, not ending anything, just letting the weight settle. "What you call misunderstandings," she said quietly, "looks more like a pattern." For the first time, the bully looked uncertain. When Judy told the plaintiff to continue, something in his expression tightened. The act wasn't holding anymore. The plaintiff went on, describing intimidation, false claims, and pressure placed on his workplace and neighbors. The bully tried to dismiss it as lies. Judy stopped him from speaking again. The plaintiff opened his folder, fully evidence inside. Photos, messages, recordings. The courtroom leaned in. The messages showed threats, disrespect, and control. No ambiguity left. The bully insisted they were jokes. Judy corrected him. They were threats. Then a photo appeared him outside the plaintiff's home late at night, posture aggressive. Judy studied it, then looked at him. "Why were you there after midnight?" He stammered, claiming he just wanted to talk. His voice cracked slightly. Judy reached for another thick folder, the one he clearly feared. The moment he saw it, his confidence collapsed further. She placed it on the bench. "We're not finished," she said. The sound of it hitting the bench was quiet but final. The bully stiffened. She didn't open it yet. Just looked at him. The plaintiff watched, knuckles white. The woman in the back covered her mouth, sensing what was coming. Judy finally spoke again, calm but cutting. "You told this court there was no security footage. The bully's Adam's apple bobbed as he tried to steady himself." "That's what they told me," he said quickly. "How would I know?" Judy didn't blink. She opened the folder. A printed frame appeared, time-stamped porch footage. A figure standing in view. His breath caught, involuntary and sharp. Judy tapped the page. The property manager provided this after a records request. A murmur ran through the room. The bully shook his head. "That's not me." Judy turned the page. Another image closer. A diamond watch reflecting in porch light. The same watch on his wrist right now. His hand twitched toward it, then stopped. More images followed, sequence shots of him outside the home, posture aggressive. The plaintiff looked away, shaken. "You said you never went there after hours," Judy said. He opened his mouth. Nothing came out. "You said you only wanted to talk." His mother whispered faintly in the back, but he didn't respond. Pride tried to hold him together. "I just wanted him to fix the job," he said quickly. "He was dragging it out." "Dragging it out?" Judy repeated. "That doesn't explain being at his home at midnight." Silence pressed down harder. Judy slid the photos across the bench. "Look at them." He reached out, hand shaking, and took them. The room felt smaller as he looked down. Then he saw the final frame. His breath stopped. Behind him, another figure. A shadowed presence he never mentioned. A ripple of shock moved through the courtroom. Judy leaned in slightly, studying the shape behind him. A tall shadow standing just steps away. Not an illusion, a person. The bully's reaction gave it away immediately. His body locked. His pupils tightened. He pulled the photo closer, pretending to examine it, buying time. Judy waited, then asked softly, "Who is the man behind you?" His jaw dropped before he could stop it. "There is no man behind you," he said quickly. "That's just a shadow." "The same shadow appears in multiple frames," Judy replied. "Shadows do not move independently." Murmurs spread. "I don't know him," he insisted. The bailiff shifted forward slightly. Judy slid another image forward showing the shadow holding something rectangular. The plaintiff leaned in. "That looks like my toolbox." The bully snapped. "No, that's not his." Judy cut through him. "Stop." He froze. "You said you were alone." "I didn't tell him to do anything," he blurted. Silence hit instantly. Judy leaned back slightly. "So you do know who he is?" His mouth closed. His mother covered her face. The plaintiff stepped forward slightly. "You brought someone with you, didn't you?" The bully said nothing. Judy nodded toward the bailiff. "Bring it closer." Heavy footsteps echoed. The bully's composure finally broke. The bailiff's shadow stretched across the floor, swallowing what was left of his confidence. When it reached his shoes, he stepped back instinctively. Judge Judy didn't raise her voice. She didn't need to. "Mr. Moore." "Dalton," she said, using his name for the first time. "You are contradicting yourself every time you speak." Her tone stayed calm, controlled, precise. He swallowed hard. The plaintiff stood quietly now. No anger, just relief. Judy continued, pointing to the evidence. "You said you were alone. You said you never touched his property. You said you only went there to talk, yet everything here says otherwise." She leaned back slightly. "Why does your story keep changing?" His breathing became uneven, faster, shallower. "It was just a misunderstanding," he muttered. "A misunderstanding does not require backup," Judy replied. Murmurs spread again. "You don't understand," he snapped suddenly. "People take advantage of me." "People like who?" Judy asked. He hesitated, then pointed sharply at the plaintiff. The bailiff shifted again. Judy stayed calm. "You are unraveling, Mr. Dalton." His mother's quiet voice broke him for a moment. He looked smaller now, less certain. The confidence that once filled him had collapsed. The plaintiff spoke softly. "All I wanted was my payment." Judy nodded. "And yet here we are," she said. The bully's silence stretched long and uneasy, revealing more than any excuse he had offered. "If you were in that courtroom," he suddenly asked, voice sharp and restless, "would you stay quiet or speak up?" His own answer came too quickly, spilling out like he was trying to outrun reality. "I'm telling you everything," he said, words stumbling over each other in panic. But speed isn't truth, and Judge Judy knew it. He forced a tight, unnatural smile, thin and shaky, stretched across his face like it might hold him together. A smile built to hide fear, to suggest control that didn't exist. Judy watched him without blinking. "That," she said flatly, "is not an honest answer. Try again." He swallowed hard, the movement visible, almost shaking through his throat. His breathing faltered as the courtroom already began to feel the shift. His confidence wasn't just cracking anymore, it was running out. "I thought he was cheating me," he blurted, pointing again at the plaintiff. Anyone would have reacted the same. "I wasn't threatening him, I was just making sure he understood." "The situation," Judy repeated calmly, "involved you showing up at his home at midnight with another man holding his property." His smile flickered again, smaller this time. "I didn't ask him to scare anyone," he said quickly. "He misunderstood everything. It wasn't like that." "We," Judy echoed. His mouth snapped shut. The plaintiff stepped forward, voice steady but heavy. "You were angry about the bill. You said I worked too slow. You demanded a discount. When I refused, you started calling my boss. Then you told me I would regret it." The bully's face flushed. "You twisted everything." "No," Judy said sharply. "He reported everything." She nodded to the clerk. "Replay the last 3 seconds." The monitor lit up. The footage played again. The shadowed figure, the toolbox glinting under porch light, then freezing mid-moment. A wave of discomfort moved through the room. Judy fought at her hands. What was the purpose of bringing this individual with you? I didn't bring him, he snapped, panic breaking through his anger. He just showed up. I didn't tell him to take anything. You're shouting, Judy said calmly. That usually means you're losing control. A murmur spread through the courtroom. Look at me, she added. He did, and something in him faltered. The presence of another man, the missing toolbox, the midnight visit, Judy continued. None of this suggests resolution. It suggests control. His fake smile disappeared completely. Now there was only fear. Judy leaned forward slightly, voice dropping. And control, Mr. Dalton, is slipping away from you. The courtroom held its breath as the footage played again in slow motion. The shadow shifted. A second figure stepped fully into frame. A jacket sleeve. A tattoo. The unmistakable glint of the plaintiff's toolbox in his hand. A collective gasp filled the room. Freeze it, Judy said. The image locked on the screen toolbox raised midair. The plaintiff closed his eyes briefly, as if relief finally reached him. The bully couldn't look away. Explain, Judy said, steady and cold, why your companion is holding the plaintiff's property outside his home. He wasn't stealing it, the bully stammered. He was just checking it. Checking it, Judy repeated, her tone cutting deeper than anger. At midnight, without permission. During what you called a simple conversation. His hands clenched, trembling. That toolbox was damaged the next morning, the plaintiff said quietly. Tools missing, hinges broken. Judy turned back to him. Did you damage it? No, he snapped instantly. I didn't touch it. I didn't tell him to do anything. So your position, Judy said slowly, is that you were present, you were involved, you arranged the visit, but none of the actions taken by the man with you are your responsibility. I didn't bring him, he insisted again. Even he seemed to realize how empty it sounded. Judy leaned back, voice quieter now. These images show more than denial, Mr. Dalton. They show intent, coordination. Coordination. Her eyes locked onto him. Unless, she added, he acted completely alone. A pause. Then, almost too calmly, in which case we will ask him directly. The bully went still, because for the first time he understood what that meant. Judy tapped the desk once. And it appears, she continued, he may already be here. The courtroom door opened. A bailiff stepped in, followed by another officer holding a sealed statement folder. The bully's face drained of color. Judy didn't move. She had been waiting. Mr. Dalton, she said evenly, your companion has already given a statement. A ripple moved through the room. The bailiff handed the folder to the bench. Judy opened it slowly. She read, expression controlled but heavy. This is a sworn statement, she said, from the man seen in the footage. He was detained earlier today in a separate intimidation case. The plaintiff looked stunned. The bully shut his eyes briefly. Judy continued, voice steady. He claims you instructed him to accompany you that night, that you told him to bring something heavy identified as the plaintiff's toolbox. The bully snapped upright. He's lying. Do not shout at me, Judy said instantly. The room went dead silent. She read another line. He also states you intended to scare the plaintiff into lowering the bill. Gasps broke out. The plaintiff covered his mouth. The bully's mother in the back row trembled quietly, tears finally breaking through. The bully shook his head rapidly. No, he's twisting it. He's trying to save himself. Judy closed the folder. Her voice hardened, not loud, but absolute. If he were lying, she said, his account would not match the photographic evidence you already tried to deny. The bully's breath broke. Judy leaned forward slightly. People can twist words, Mr. Dalton. They cannot twist truth this consistently, he whispered, shaking. He's trying to ruin me. No, Judy said firmly. He's describing what you brought on both of you. Silence fell again, heavier this time, final in its weight. The bully opened his mouth, then closed it again. No confidence, no smirk, no performance left to hide behind, only fear. For the first time, the person he thought he could control had become a witness against him. His answer came too quickly, almost desperate. "I'm telling you everything," he blurted, words tumbling out of order as if he could outrun the truth by speaking faster. But speed isn't honesty, and Judge Judy knew it. A forced smile stretched across his face, thin, unstable, more like something holding a fracture together than real confidence. A mask built from panic, trying to suggest control where none existed. Judy didn't react. "That," she said flatly, "is not an honest answer. Try again." He swallowed hard. The movement was visible, sharp, uneasy. His breathing started to break rhythm, and the courtroom could feel it. The shift wasn't coming anymore. It had already happened. His confidence wasn't just falling apart. It was fleeing. "I thought he was cheating me," he said quickly, pointing again at the plaintiff. Anyone would have reacted the same. "I wasn't threatening him. I was just making sure he understood." "The situation," Judy repeated calmly, "involved you showing up at his home at midnight with another man holding his property." His smile flickered smaller, weaker. "I didn't ask him to scare anyone," he rushed. "He misunderstood, that's all." "We," Judy said simply, his mouth shut immediately. The plaintiff stepped forward, voice steady but worn down. He described the unpaid work, the demands, the calls to his employer, and the warning that he would regret it. The bully snapped back. "You twisted everything." "No," Judy cut in. "He reported everything." She nodded toward the clerk. "Replay the last 3 seconds." The monitor lit up again. The footage showed the shadowed figure, the toolbox catching the porch light, then freezing. A ripple of discomfort moved through the room. Judy folded her hands. "What was the purpose of bringing this individual with you?" "I didn't bring him," the bully shouted, panic breaking through anger. "He just showed up." "You're shouting," Judy said evenly. "That usually happens when control is slipping." Murmurs spread. "Look at me," she said. He did, and something inside him cracked further. The midnight visit, the missing toolbox, the presence of another man. Judy continued. "None of this looks like resolution. It looks like control." His forced smile disappeared entirely. Now there was nothing left but fear. "And control, Mr. Dalton," she added quietly, "is slipping away from you." The footage played again, slower this time. The shadow moved. A second figure stepped fully into frame. A sleeve, a tattoo, the unmistakable glint of the toolbox in his hand. A collective gasp filled the courtroom. "Freeze it," Judy said. The image locked in place, the toolbox raised mid-air. The plaintiff closed his eyes, relief and pain mixing together. The bully couldn't look away. "Explain," Judy said, calm and precise, "why your companion is holding the plaintiff's property outside his home." "He wasn't stealing it," he stammered. "He was just checking it." "Checking it," Judy repeated, her tone cutting deeper than anger. "At midnight, during a visit you called a simple conversation." His hands trembled, curling into fists. The plaintiff spoke quietly. "It was broken the next morning, tools gone, hinges damaged." Judy turned back. "Did you damage it?" "No." He snapped instantly. "I didn't touch it." "So your position," Judy said slowly, "is that you arranged the visit, you were present, but none of the actions taken by the man with you are your responsibility." "I didn't bring him," he insisted again. Even he seemed to hear how hollow it sounded. Judy leaned back slightly. "These images don't show confusion, Mr. Dalton. They show intent." Her eyes stayed locked on him. "Unless he acted alone." A pause. "Then we will ask him directly." The room went still. The door opened. A bailiff entered, followed by another officer holding a sealed statement folder. Color drained from the bully's face instantly. Judy didn't move. "Your companion has already given a statement," she said. A ripple moved through the courtroom. The bailiff placed the folder on the bench. Judy opened it slowly, deliberately. Her expression shifted, not anger, but something colder, certainty. "This is a sworn statement," she said, "from the man seen in the footage. He was detained earlier today in another intimidation case. The plaintiff stared. The bully shut his eyes briefly. Judy continued. He states you instructed him to accompany you, that you told him to bring something heavy, the plaintiff's toolbox. He's lying, the bully snapped. Do not shout at me, Judy said instantly. Silence collapsed over the room. She read on. He also states your intention was to intimidate the plaintiff into lowering the bill. Gasps erupted. The plaintiff covered his mouth. The bully's mother broke into silent tears in the back row. No, he's twisting it, the bully shouted. He's trying to save himself. Judy closed the folder. If he were lying, she said evenly, his statement would not align so precisely with evidence you denied existed. His breath broke sharp, uneven. Judy leaned forward slightly. People can twist words. They cannot twist consistency like this, he whispered. He's trying to ruin me. No, she said. He's describing what you did. Silence settled again, heavier than before. The bully stood frozen, but inside everything had already collapsed. His mouth opened again, but nothing came out. He looked at the folder again, then at the plaintiff, then at Judge Judy. No more strategies, no more performance, nothing left to lean on except the truth sitting in front of him. And for the first time in his life, he understood the real cost of who he had become. The folder stayed open on the bench, its pages still as the facts they carried. For several seconds he didn't speak at all. His lips trembled slightly, but no words formed, like his voice had gotten stuck between guilt and realization. His breathing came in short, uneven pulls, each one heavier than the last. Judge Judy broke the silence, calm but firm, leaving no space for avoidance. Mr. Dalton, she said, this is your final opportunity. No deflection, no excuses. Just the truth. What do you have to say for yourself? That last word, truth, landed heavily. He blinked hard, swallowing against a tight throat. The arrogance, the attitude, the false confidence, it was all gone. What remained was someone stripped of every layer he used to protect himself. I don't know how to start, he whispered. Then start, Judy replied, with the truth. The plaintiff watched carefully, his expression softened but cautious. Even the audience leaned forward, sensing the moment wasn't about the case anymore. It was about a man finally facing himself. Dalton inhaled shakily. I didn't think I was hurting people, he said. I thought I was just being firm, making sure no one crossed me. He flinched at his own words. I grew up watching my father like that, yelling at people, ordering them around, contractors, workers, strangers. I thought that's what being in control looked like. Judy didn't interrupt. She just listened. But that's not an excuse, he added quickly, voice breaking. I used it as one. I told myself I deserved respect even when I wasn't giving it. I thought if I shouted louder, I wouldn't feel small. His shoulders dropped, exhausted. I've been lying to myself, he said quietly. Not just everyone else. The plaintiff lowered his gaze, conflicted but understanding something deeper unfolding. Judy's voice stayed steady. Apologies are not words, they are actions. And your actions have caused harm. Dalton nodded slowly, shame fully settling in. In the back row, his mother sobbed quietly, the sound small but devastating. He turned toward her, seeing her tears for the first time without denial or anger. I didn't want you to see me like this, he whispered. She shook her head gently. Maybe this is exactly what needed to be seen. He turned back, breathing uneven but more grounded, now not from pride, but from truth finally surfacing. Judy leaned forward slightly. This, she said, tapping the folder, is what you've been avoiding. The only question now is whether you face it or keep running from it. I want to change, he said, voice barely holding together. Judy didn't respond immediately. She let the silence sit with him, heavy and real. The courtroom felt denser now, every word carrying weight, every breath measured. Dalton stood at the podium, no longer imposing, no longer loud. Just a man finally seeing the full shape of his actions. Judy spoke again, calm but decisive. What we've seen here is not confusion. It is a pattern intimidation, control, and escalation whenever you feel challenged. He didn't argue this time. Each word landed cleanly without resistance. You damaged property, you withheld payment. You escalated a dispute into harassment. You involved another person in intimidation. Dalton closed his eyes briefly, absorbing it all. His mother watched through tears, no longer defending him, only mourning what had been ignored for too long. Judy lifted the evidence again. Photos, timestamps, frozen moments. These are not just images, she said. They are decisions. Dalton swallowed hard. Accountability is not optional, Judy continued. It is required. The bailiff shifted slightly, ready but calm. Judy's voice softened just a fraction, not kindness, but clarity. You have caused fear, and this court does not ignore fear used as a weapon. Dalton nodded faintly, tears forming but not falling. The plaintiff finally exhaled, shoulders loosening for the first time. Judy rested a hand near the gavel, not striking yet. "Before I deliver my ruling," she said, her tone lowering, "understand this. Consequences are not punishment. They are correction." Dalton looked up, broken but listening. "And correction," she added, "is the only thing that makes change real." The room went completely still. Then Judy closed the file with a soft final sound. "Mr. Peter." "Dalton," she said, "you will now face the consequences of your actions." He just sat there empty. Not defiant, not confident, just hollow. A man finally forced to feel the full weight of a life built on pressure, intimidation, and distortion of the truth. Judge Judy watched him without expression. No satisfaction, no victory in her face, only certainty. "Mr. Mumtav." "Dalton," she said, her voice steady but firm, "arrogance collapses faster than truth, but only truth allows someone to rebuild." He lowered his head slowly, not out of pride or performance, just understanding. Across the room, the plaintiff let out a long, shaking breath. His shoulders eased as if a year's worth of fear had finally been lifted at once. The bailiff guided Dalton toward the side door. He moved without resistance. No swagger left, no resistance, no fight, only the steady sound of consequence carrying him out. As the door closed behind him, Judge Judy delivered her final words. "Let this serve as a reminder. Power without responsibility means nothing, and respect is never something that can be taken by force." The gavel struck. The case was over.